Alright, we're going to do a iPhone 5 frame change for a customer. Frame's a little damaged. I'm not going to talk much, but I'm going to try and keep everything within camera shot. I may have customers walk in intermittently, but we'll see if we can do it. Goal is 45 minutes. Normally I'd use a suction cup to get the screen off, but since we're replacing the frame, we will just pry it out with a razor knife. Now the screen, maybe she complained that there was dead spots on the digitizer, so we'll just do it as a frame change, and then if the screen needs changed out, we'll do that afterwards, because I'd like to see what the actual time is that it takes to get this done. First thing, we'll move the screen. I have 2 pieces of packaging tape taped down to the desk, and then I use those to keep the screws organized. Basically, I just put them in the same orientation that they come out of the phone. Most people suggest using a plastic sponger. I just make sure that I do not pry against the board. I'm just pulling the cables up only. No pressure on the board. People knock chips off the boards doing that, and it's not fun. Okay, so we got pulling the board is going to be really easy. The hard part on these is transferring the small parts. Like there's a ring around the lightning port and the headset jack, and getting those taken off and lined up correctly can be a bear. Reinstalling the vibrate switch can be hard at times. The lock button can give you trouble, especially if you don't have a little pin that it hinges on. Careful with these, people have broke them. Basically, the antenna connector will stay on the board, not on the cable. Also, I see a lot of people slip when removing the double screws, we call them deucers, and knock components off the board, so be real careful when you're doing that. More so when you're putting it back in than when you're taking it out. This one seldomly holds magnetism. You can see it just bounce somewhere. Luckily, I have tons of extra screw sets. I'm not going to go fishing for it because I want to get this done quickly. Okay, so we got all the screws out for the board. And release camera. Then we can remove the board. I always pull it from here and down. Release the Wi-Fi. The camera goes in and out of focus. I apologize. I'm just recording it and trying to keep the stuff in camera view. Okay, battery. Sometimes I can pull it with the battery puller. Not often. So we will go ahead and pry.
Hey,
How you doing?
I heard you got some good news for me.
We got the digitizer working. Okay, while the video stopped recording, I had taken some screws out for the dock from down here. I like to keep 2 pieces of tape down for different parts. That way there's less chance of confusion. So basically everything that pulls the board out on the other tape, and then all the other parts on this one. Okay, now you got to take the dock out first to remove the clips for the screen. One is under the dock. I'm actually going to heat this up. We release some of the adhesive. We'll do a lot of that. It's just better for the components. Okay, then I pull the lightning port up out of the frame so that it comes out easier. All it can come off of one piece, although it is 2 pieces. The speaker is just adhered there. Alright, now we have 4 little washers. Right over these 4 screw points. Okay, next we're going to move all the clips that hold the screen in place and the SIM card ejector. Don't forget the SIM card ejector. Okay, when you tighten in the SIM card ejector, after you do, make sure it moves freely. Okay, now let's start moving these clips over. You can do them one at a time so you don't get confused. And do 2 at a time.
Where's the Wi-Fi?
It's Cisco.
Cisco?
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same password?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, don't put the clips in upside down. Done that before. This one has to go in before the dock because it's under the dock. This is the easy part. If I can do that, I'll be surprised. Nope. Okay. Next, I'm going to remove the two chrome rings. Thank you for calling I Repair and I Customize. This is John. How can I help you?
John, good morning. This is Frank.
Hey,
How are you?
busy?
Busy, I know. Do you think you got anyone for me?
Pardon me?
Do you get any, you fix the iPad? I bought lots yesterday.
No, yesterday, I'm sorry. I told you I'd have them done by 5. I booked up till 2 before I can even start on them.
Yeah. Okay, if you do, would you please cut the one with the charge and dock, like probably it's bad or something?
I'll check it out and see.
Yeah, will you check that one, see if you can work that one first, and whatever is easier than next.
Which one are you saying might have the bad charge report?
The white one, the one with the white...
The mini?
Two. No, not the mini, the other one.
Okay. I'll check it out.
The white one. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, John.
All right, you take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Don't tend to use heat on this part because it ruins the adhesive. places nicely. So just use a sharp razor knife, try and get under the adhesive. There is a mesh, also speaker mesh, so that, you know, to prevent dust from getting in. And then the ring for the headset jack has to go in before that. Sometimes it's a real tight fit, especially if you get anything plated. So whenever there's a plated item, I check all the buttons, make sure there's nice clearance, everything before I do that. Alright, now on this, this is your microphone, okay? So basically, you want to make sure that the hole for the microphone lines up with the holes in the bottom of the frame. And the best way to do that, I found, is to shine a flashlight. And if you can see light, then sound will get through. So I'll go down and a little bit to the left. And that's pretty good. Alright, now get all those in place. Look and make sure there's nothing missing. Sometimes there is a little black film that goes right here. Oh, here, right down here. Barely noticeable, so we're going to move that too. Don't know what purpose it serves, but better to have it and not need it than to not have it and need it. And now we got to put these little washers in place. So if we can brighten that up for you a little bit. There we go. Okay, now putting the dock back in place. This little rubber part needs to go over the microphone port. Okay. Headset jack needs to be tightly against the ring. Charge port needs to go into the ring slightly. I like to take the cable, plug it in, and that helps a lot. Okay. And then let's get the two charge port screws in first. Sometimes this part does take some adjustment. use a headset jack and charge port to line things. I'm going to put these in but not tighten them for the headset jack. I'll put a headset jack. And I'll tighten it in place. Very nice. Alright, this is going pretty nicely. Okay. Next, we're going to take the vibrate motor out. And little plate that holds the flash in. This screw's always a bear to get back in for me. The bigger part of the plate goes up. Alright, now we're going to heat it up. We're going to remove, well, let's take the screws out. Yeah. 3 screws for volume and vibrate, 1 screw for lock button. Now we're going to heat up. First thing we're going to remove or take out is the Wi-Fi, and we'll work on the power flux cable. Careful with the Wi-Fi. There are some components on it. You can easily tear it. And then we can look on the power cable. It's a good idea to always have spare flex cables for anything you're working on, just in case you damage one. also move a couple other pieces. This, the Wi-Fi antenna sits on. This, I don't know what purpose it serves, but I have it anyways. Okay. Install. Now there's a little pin that goes in there. I will have to find one to put in place. Oh. Grab the button. Now the lock button has a little hinge on it, and that goes up towards the screen. And the iPhone 4 models goes down towards the screen because you're working backwards. Okay. Test, make sure you get a nice click. Good. And this in place over the screws. First, we're going to put the volume in and the bottom screw to the volume. I'm not going to over tighten it so that we can work with the vibrate because it's a little tweaky sometimes. Okay, and the vibrate, or the volume up and down frame sits under the vibrate switch frame. Okay. And the vibrate switch, the red line goes up towards the screen. Put it on, make sure it's in place. Up. Try and hold it together while you move it in. Make sure you start with a click. Good. Back it off just a tad so I can move that in place. Tighten it up again so the switch doesn't come out. Good. Switch works good, buttons work good. Now this part powers your vibrate motor. Let's put the Wi-Fi cable back in place. Line it with the screw. It should touch the back glass. That's why there's glass on there, so that your antennas get good reception. Doesn't go through the aluminum as well as it does glass. Alright. Alright. So the pin doesn't look like it's going to be necessary. The camera and this screw is going to make that work perfectly. And let's take a look and see what we also have in here in case we missed anything. Nothing at all. We're going to go ahead and move the battery puller just for fun. you can order these also. I'm currently out, so we're going to use this one. And this should be actually right over the sim, so I'm fairly good in alignment. Okay, now logic board. Okay, plug in the Wi-Fi cable. Pull the lock button cable out from under the board. And you know what, before we even do that, let's put the plate that holds the flash in place, because like I said, that gives me problems a lot of times. Less area or stuff to work on in the way. Bottom screws, good. Top ones use a pain in the butt. Alright. It needs a flat head, but I'm going to go ahead and try and get started with the Phillips. Hello. We got about 20 more minutes.
Okay.
Alright?
Alrighty, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I suggested a color change. And I love doing the color changes. I wish you would have took me up on it. No, we're not going to use it. So, the board has alignment pins, so you want to move it around till it's all on the alignment pins, and then you can, I just put the two Phillips heads in first that go right below the sim tray and above, and that anchors the board in place, and then everything else is fairly easy. Let's put that vibrate motor back in. Probably going off the screen a lot. We don't tighten the screws on this until you get all three in, because you couldn't bend this part, which is actually a separate part than the motor, but they always stay together because of the magnetism. Alright, I'll put the camera in place. The camera has 2 alignment pins that go into the camera lens, and it needs to sit flush with this little bevel. Otherwise, the screen's going to stick out there. And sometimes the camera has plastic over it, so don't forget to take that off. This one does not. Alright, so you put your microphone in place. Wait, that was a microphone, that's a flash. I had them backwards. Put your flash in place. And then the plate that holds it in. A little embarrassed that I said that backwards. Good, good, good. 2 screws for the top of the frame. Now some deucers. Do not put pressure on. I've seen people slip the nut components on the board there. Same here, same on the top one. I use my thumb so that the flathead doesn't slip. Here's the deucer that bounced out earlier. And this one never seems to be held up or picked up with a magnet. So I'll just do tweezers and put it in. And once again, you don't want your screw to slip, so don't be putting pressure while you're getting started. And I got everything protected with my thumb, so less chance of slipping. I usually don't have this much trouble with that. There we go. Good. Alright. antenna cable. Like click for me, but it's on there. Okay. All cables are connected. Let's put the battery back in. Battery will need adhesive if you do not have the replacement puller. Otherwise it'll flop around. Feel like something's loose in your phone. Okay, that looks nice. And we can put the bottom plate on for the dock and battery. See, if you're changing battery, this top plate doesn't even need to come off. On the 5S, they made this one plate, which I kind of like better. Alright, now we're going to put her screen on and test it out. She said she was having issues with part of the digitizer not responding. Okay, we would put this plate back on, 3 screws, close the screen, and bottom screws in, but we need to make sure the screen's working, so we're going to end this video. And thank you. Hey, I could use some subscribers if anybody can. Likes are good too.